Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of our SAP basis training. In this session we will be discussing about operation mode. First of all, we need to understand what is operation mode. The concept behind this operation mode is basically created because the demands of users in SAP systems may vary from one time to another time. Meaning to say, during the day, the large number of dialog users who may want to use the system for their own day-to-day activities. Okay. Therefore, you need to have large number of dialog work process during the daytime. However, during the night time, if let's assume that you have same number of dialog work process and less number of background work process, that may be a problem, because normally what you do, the high performance jobs which you want to run, let's say some background jobs which you generate some reports, stuff like this, which is scheduled on the night time because there is no users in the SAP system. Okay, let me repeat it again. Let's say if we are working in an SAP system, in the daytime all the employees will log into the SAP system and use the SAP system. So in that time we don't schedule any background jobs in order to provide the resources to dialog users. So all the background jobs you want to run, generally we schedule it in the evening time, in the night time. Okay, so that there is no performance issues comes during the daytime. Okay, that is the objective. In this case, what will happen is, in the night time you have same number of background process to run the jobs, let's assume. Okay, in that case, let's say if many users run quite a lot of background jobs, then you have quite less background process. However, your dialog process are free. Okay, so the CPU utilization, if you see the number of background jobs in the night, may be quite less. So why can't we use the dialog work process, the resources which is available for the dialog work process, for the background work for background jobs in the night time? That is the idea. Okay, so in the daytime you have lot of dialog work processes, the dialog activities running. In the night time you have lot of background jobs running. So we want to find a balance between daytime and nighttime. Daytime with lot of dialog processes and nighttime with lot of background processes. So using the operation mode in SAP, we can achieve this. Let's say if you go, yes, if you see this diagram, if you see in the daytime, the instance 1 or instance 2, let's take instance 1 which have 3 dialog work process and 2 background work process. In using the operation mode, in the night time we will change to 2 dialog work process and 3 background work process. Same like that, in the instance 2 we had 4 dialog work process and 2 background work process. In the night time we will have 2 dialog work process and 4 background work process. Okay, so like this we can switch, we can use the resources for the actual activity which is required for the specific time. Okay, this is one example, day and night. Maybe you will have a different example that you wanted to change. Yeah, so in general this is what is done. Yeah, however, we can also do changes on other work processes, like spool and other stuff, but it's not generally done. But generally it's done for uh, dialogue and background work process. That's a normal process. Yeah, others we don't get that much of requirement, but it is possible uh, for the dialogue with the other work processes, but it's not generally done. Okay, but in my practical experience I never seen any such requirement coming. But for background jobs, yes, we do. It's again depends on how big is your system. If it is quite large systems, like which has more than 15 application servers, in that case what we do is we keep some dedicated application server to run background process, because in that kind of system you will have in the daytime also you will have a lot of background jobs running, because there will be some processes which triggers automatic background jobs which you cannot control. So in that case we will allocate two application server to run only background jobs, then it can keep running only background jobs. That's a different approach altogether. But if it is a smaller systems, then this will be the best approach to do. And thus in the smaller system also we will generally do dialogue and background work processes. So here we need to understand that number of work processes within the instance is not changed. We don't increase or decrease the number of work process. Yeah, this is this we have to be clear about this concept. So we don't increase or decrease the work processes, but we only change from dialogue to background and background to dialogue. The same time when you do this change, your process ID will remain same. Process ID is the ID which is coming from the operating system. Yeah, and the same time, if let's assume when you are switching from here to here, from day to night, let's assume there is some dialogue users and running some processes. In that case it will wait for the process to finish. Or the other way around, we know already what is buffer. The buffer will remain the same. Yeah, the buffer is not changed. So if once you switched, if there was some process happened here, it's finished, then we switched it. If the process comes back again, if the user comes back again, then you have a different dialog process with the same buffered data is already available, then it can still continue this process. Yeah, so there is no possibility that it will entirely stop, or rather we can say the SAP will adjust these processes by its own. Okay, and we also have to make sure that at least two dialog processes are in place. Yeah, for when you switch it, and the other way around, and also have background processes. The minimum requirement should be always there. So as I said, during the switch of this operation mode, neither the instance nor the work process are affected, or you do not need to restart the servers. Okay, you do not need to restart the server. The switch will happen automatically. Yeah, since the buffer also remains same, you don't feel any much difference in the performance until unless you have same number of dialog users are logging in. Okay, now let's see how to set up an operation mode. Okay, since we now understood what is operation mode, now let's see how to set up an operation mode. So in order to set up operation mode, first you need to create two operations. Okay, in our case we take an example of day and night. Okay, so you create two operations, then you start setting up. Maybe we can do it in parallel in the system, then we can understand this more better. Okay, our system is ready. Let me log into okay, let's go to SM50 and check what we have now. We have 10 dialog work process and we have update work process enqueue and 3 background work process spool and update 2, and this is the process ID. Yeah, this is the process ID which is coming from the operating system. Okay, so the process ID will not change. That means the process ID which is allocated by the operating system is used for a different purpose. Yeah, there's a small switch in between. So let's see first one by one. First, what we need to do, we need to create an operation mode. Okay, so how to create an operation mode? In order to create an operation mode, you need to create an container. Okay, it's kind of an empty container. Yeah, so for that we have a transaction code which is RZ40, which is RZ04. Okay, this is CCMS maintain operation mode instances. CCMS is continuous control monitoring system. This is where we maintain the operating mode. Okay, you can also follow the menu path. Let me show you how does the menu path. You go to tools, then you can go to CCM, then go to configuration. Yeah, here you have operation mode and instances RZ04. Okay, now we need to create an empty container. Okay, for that you simply say create operation mode. Let's say Z_day. Z_day. Operation mode day. Okay, and save. Okay, we have one operation is a day. This is operation mode day. I'll create one more. It is Z_night. Operation mode night. Okay, save. So right now we have created two empty containers which is called day and night. Now we need to set up, or we need to create a definition for the work process distribution for all instances. Okay, the second step. In our case we have only one instance. Okay, if you have more than one instance, then you need to do it for all instances separately. Okay, let me go back. For that you need to go to instance operation mode. Here what we do, we define the process distribution. Yeah, so in order to define the process distribution, we need to get the details of present work process available in the system. Okay, so it's quite easy to get it. You go to setting, go to based on current status, go to existing instance, new instances, and say generate. Okay, once you say that one, now you can see you got the host name, and this is a server name, and this is the instance profile. Okay, and you have now this is the two empty containers we created. It automatically allocated all the existing work process to this two empty containers. Okay, meaning to say in the day mode also it's going to work same, and the night mode also it's going to work same. We have 10 dialog work process and 3 background work process. Okay, that's what it means. Now we need to start defining what we want. Okay, we don't want to have like this, right? So we want to increase in the night time. We want to increase the uh, number of background processes. Simply double click here, then this pop-up will appear. Here you can see dialog and background work processes. If you simply click the background work process, you can see it's automatically getting allocated from the dialog work process. Okay. Okay. You can also increase the update work process if in some cases, but we don't require. Yeah, some of the work process you can, some of you cannot, but it's fine. So in our case, we are going to increase the background work process. Let's say I'm going to have 8 background work process in the night and only 5 dialog work process in the night. So I have taken 5 dialog work process and give it to background process. So once you have done the adjustment, you say save. Okay, now you can see in the daytime it will have 10 dialog work process. In the night time it will have 5 dialog work process. In the daytime it will have 3 background work process. In the night time it's going to have 8 dialog work process. Okay, now once you created this one and simply save it, say production instances data is saved. Now we go to the next step. The next step is adjust the work process distribution. This is a step 3. Okay, now we created the work process. Okay, we created the distribution lift. Now we need to specify which time, or we need to schedule the operations, right? So for that we can go back here, go back to the main screen, go to operation, and you can go to timetable. Okay, and this is same as a transaction. If you come back here, if you go to transaction, that is SM63 is a transaction, will take you there. Okay, or if you want to come by menu path, you can go to tools and CCM configuration, then you have SM63. Okay, here you have 2 options. You select the normal operation, which is 24 hours, and say change. Here what you can see is you can see different times, yeah, from 00 to 00. Okay, so each hour we have this, each hour is already distributed here. Now let's assume our daytime start from 8 to let's say 5, or let's say 8 to 8. Okay, let's say 12 hours. Okay, 8 to 8. Okay, so if, and so I want to assign 08 to 20 hours to daytime. Okay, so for that, if you right now, if you see clearly, this particular time is in blue color. You simply double click, then it will become black, and you can keep clicking like this, yeah, then it will become black. Instead of clicking one by one, you select one, then you select go to 20, then you can see all are selected. Okay, that means this is selected now. Now we can assign one specific operation mode to this time. For that, you go to assign. It will ask you to select the operation mode. You simply select here, and this is our daytime. Okay, now this is our daytime. Now the next step is we need to assign the night time. Let's say I will do the same thing, double click here and double click here. I will say assign, select the operation mode. I will say is at night. Okay, here also I want to do the same thing, assign night. Okay, so meaning to say early morning 8 o'clock it will have more dialog work processes, and in the night 9 o'clock it will switch to night mode, so that from 9 o'clock onwards the night you will have less dialog work process but more background work process. So this switching will happen automatically. Yeah, so I will save this. Now the operation mode is set and it is saved. Now we have to wait till the time. However, we can check how the operation mode is working or not. Yeah, this is something like a consistency check, or we can call this, you can also manually change the operation mode. That we, let's say it like that, we can manually switch the operation mode, and the same time we can also check whether our the operation mode is working properly or not. So for this you can go to a transaction code RZ03, that is RZ03. Okay, otherwise you can go to the menu path, tools, CCMS, then it's not configuration, you have control and monitor, you have RZ03, this is control panel. Okay, if you see here, okay, the operation mode is displayed here, however it's not active. Yeah, this is the night operation mode, you need to activate it. Okay, if how do we know? If you go, let's say right now, let's go to SM50. Okay, you still have 10 dialog work processes. Okay, still we are in the daytime. Now let's switch. Okay, let's go to RZ03. Okay, then you go to now we go to control and switch operation mode and select all servers. Okay, now it says now it asks you for the confirmation, switch all server to this operation mode. Yeah, the one which we have selected here, or you can also switch to specific selected servers. Yeah, you need to select the specific server, then you go here and only to the selected server, whatever you select here. Okay, you can also do like that, or you can simply go and say all server, then it will select for all servers. Or let's say in some cases in the daytime you have a lot of jobs, you suddenly wanted to switch it to switch some of the application server to the night mode, or to the different operation mode, we can still do that. Yeah, it's very rare we get that kind of situation. The situation is like in practical scenarios, that you will have this year-end and month-end closings. The year-end closing is a quite tedious job in SAP. That time this accounting department will generate a lot of background jobs. That time you need to do little bit of manual manipulations. Yeah, okay, let's say now switch all servers, say yes. Okay, now this is active. Now if I go to SM15, SM50, now if you see, the dialog work process from 1 2 3 4 5 is changed to background, but the process ID remains same. So right now how many we have? 1 2 3 4 5 dialog work process, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 background work process. This is the exactly what we configured. Okay, we configured the operation mode, and right now it's working successfully. We can also switch it back in the same thing and switch it back to daytime. Okay, with this we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.